What you are looking at here is the front page of alphaXiv, and it is helping me with a new hobby of mine. You see, they have a nice way to look for interesting articles, but they also have a fun front page with a proper ranking system that really helps me find out interesting work. And a few weeks ago, I found this one article that I think does a pretty neat trick, but thanks to LLMs, what I'm able to do now is pretty quickly bootstrap a notebook that just gets to the gist of the idea in the paper as quickly as possible. Now, fun fact, if you go to resources now, you can actually see that there's a link to a Marimo notebook, one that I made. But what I think might be most interesting is to just discuss how I'm able to actually do this new hobby of mine where I start by glancing at a paper and I end up with a notebook that comes with a widget that really helps explain the intuition, and then also does a little bit of extra effort on the side to really help me understand why this approach is a sound idea. If you're curious on how I generated this, by the way, one caveat that I do want to mention is that LLMs do really help. If you go to the alphaXiv website, you are going to find that there is this LLM section on the side over here. It defaults to Gemini 3 Flash, and you can start talking to it, and that stuff definitely helps. But what I think might be more interesting is just the journey of, hey, this paper is trying to explain something. What is the widget that I might need to generate in this notebook to really help me test my knowledge so I can really see how the approach works? And I think if that's a skill that you have, then it's also going to be a lot easier for you to maybe learn from a new article because you're much better equipped to make these notebooks that help you learn something as opposed to just stare at some LLM output. So with that out of the way, let me just try to explain what this paper is about. So let's say that we are dealing with, I don't know, some LLM, right? And it's generating a couple of candidates and we have to figure out some sort of way to assign a value to the output that it's generating. So again, we've got the LLM, right? It generates example 1, it generates example 2, all the way up until example K, let's say. And we are going to judge it by assigning a few specific scores. So maybe we've got some sort of system that's able to say, well, the text that was generated there, that has some good style. Or maybe we can confirm that the style is great, but then maybe also the content needs to be correct. And maybe it's also good at generating a source. There's lots of things that you can come up with. And then typically what you would do, maybe you have some sort of a classifier. I'm going to make a big assumption here that we actually do have systems that are able to generate labels, right? But you can imagine we get a bunch of ones and zeros. They come out of this. Some of this stuff might be correct. Some of this stuff might have generated a source, yes or no. But this is the system that we presumably have. This is a given. So far, so good. But now we get to the part where you have to come up with some sort of score. And you could go about this in a few ways. One thing you could do is you could say, well, let's just take the sum out of all of these guys. So there's 1 point there. So that's a 1. There's a correct and a source. Okay, that's 2 points. And then if you go all the way at the bottom over here, 2 zeros, 1 1. So okay, we could just sort of take the sum, right? That's one thing we could do. But if you do this, you may be missing out on some useful information. For example, it could be the case. Let's put a 0 here, let's say, and let's put maybe a 1 here. In this scoring mechanism, you could argue that the style that we've got here, that's being weighed with the same degree as this source column over here. After all, example 1 over here only has 1 1 and therefore has a score of 1. Example K, same story, but there's one subtle difference, and that is that maybe having a 1 on style is rare to begin with. And if that's the case, then maybe it makes a bunch of sense to not just take the sum over here, but to maybe normalize that in a way that respects the fact that a score of 1 could be rare on a given column. Because if that's the case, well, something that's rare, that deserves a higher weight because you might be able to learn more from that. And if you're going to do some sort of a gradient signal, it really helps if you can normalize with that in mind. You don't want to assign a lot of weight to things that the LLM might already be good at. Maybe you want to assign a bigger score to something that the LLM usually doesn't get right. That is the basic premise of the problem. But you can imagine that there are different ways of scoring and weighing these things. And that's what this paper is about. It's about how do you score these different columns. And that's also what the paper then proposes to tackle. Now, if you read the paper, you're going to see these formulas. And, you can get the LLM to try to help you understand it, but they remain formulas. The typical way of scoring, by the way, is to just take the sum of all of these scores from all these different columns and to then normalize. But what the paper suggests is that it might be better to normalize on a column first and to then actually take the sum. So, okay, like we have these formulas and that's pretty cool, but if I want to understand it, then usually I want to have some sort of a thing that allows me to play. So I went to Claude and I did tell it to make me a first version of any widget. I'm going to add links in the show notes if you're curious on how to make those yourself. But I came up with this element. I'm assuming that there's a couple of these things that matter to the LLM. So we've got correctness and style and conciseness. And then there's a total score. And then we have these two different ways of weighing these scores. And one approach, again, is to take the sum and to then normalize. The other approach is to first normalize and then take the sum. And what I think is a kind of a cute trick with this widget is I'm able to add rows. These rows will, of course, influence column values that you see over here, but you can also add different numbers as you see fit. And doing this really allows you to play around and really spot some differences. And just to go for what I think might be the most extreme example, right? So most of the time, let's say that this LLM gets correctness right. So there's lots of ones over here. There's a bunch of zeros down there, but it's mainly ones. That's the stuff that we have over here. And let's also say that, the style, we often don't get that right. We only get that one times, lots of zeros here. Same with conciseness, only have one over here. Then across all of these rows, the total things we get right is always a 1. So compared to this total over here, this old way of doing the reweighing doesn't really cause a difference, doesn't really have a quote-unquote advantage. But if we do the GDPO, then we do actually see that things are being weighed quite differently. We're actually not assigning a whole lot of weight to correctness being out there. We do seem to assign a bunch of weight to these two examples over here because these, again, are pretty rare. And, I can also proclaim that everything here is correct. When you do this GDPO is going to favor this one row that has everything correct by a whole bunch more compared to the other approach. So again, the whole point of this widget is that I just have a place where I can interact and try to have some fun. As I was building this, by the way, one thing that I really tried to do is come up with some weird examples. And if I felt that the LLM made a mistake, that would allow me to not just interrogate the LLM, but also have a little bit of a look at the code. But okay, so I have a widget and that's pretty cool, but that's also not enough. It's one thing to show that there is indeed a difference between two normalization methods, but the real thing you want to show is that maybe this also has an effect on how quickly you learn if you had some sort of a gradient feedback and some sort of a numeric system. So that's what we're doing down below over here. I've got a chart over here and there are different values for correctness, style, and of course we are doing the two different reweighing methods. And you can see, hey, how quickly do we actually learn over epochs? The dotted lines are the old approach. The straight line over here is the new approach with the different weighing. And you can see we really outperform. We are learning way better compared to the dotted lines. Now, the chart that you're looking at right here, that is using some simulated data, but I added a little toggle down below over here that allows me to train on the widget data instead. So we're going to take not just a random batch, no, we are going to take the data that comes out of this widget and reuse that all over the place. And it might be easier to do this when I'm not in edit mode, but more in app mode. So I'm just going to toggle this over here. All the lines are a fair bit different, but let me maybe add a couple of points like so. And of course, it does depend a little bit on the batch that you generate here. There are things that you could do to maybe ruin the learning rate, but in general, we see the same pattern. We again see that the thick lines, they tend to converge a bunch quicker, and the dotted lines, they still get there, but they're a fair bit slower. So there you go. This is one of those moments where you can kind of build your own interactive learning experience on something that is fairly new because, we're doing this based off of an article. By having both the widget and also the code being generated, and also by taking the code that it generates quite serious, you try to look for bugs. I like to think that this might just be the best way to learn from articles. To be clear, this article is well written. I also understand that you want to be a bit formal when you write these articles, so, I get all of that. But as a learning experience, I find that these articles don't always really do it for me. But being able to generate something like this and, testing my knowledge as I generate this, oh boy, that is a very not just engaging experience, but it actually feels like I'm learning. I get the trick that they're trying to do here. And that is something that, I can stare at pages all day. It's just not the same thing. But we are in this phase now where we do have LLMs at your disposal where it's actually going to be normal to maybe generate widgets just for once, just for this one notebook, and not build something that's supposed to run in many notebooks. And yeah, this is one of those moments where I also think LLMs can help you learn as opposed to, the LLM just generates code for me and, it generates so much code that it's going to be hard for me to see everything. By doing this in a notebook, maybe 1 or 2 cells at a time, slow is smooth and smooth is fast, that approach. I don't know, this is a cool new hobby. And if people are keen to try this as well, definitely keep me in the loop. I'd love to see more notebooks like this. I think they're very fun. But if you're interested in doing something like this, I do want to give a small shout out to alphaXiv. It is just a cool service. Their search is pretty good too. I've been able to find some cool articles on some fringe topics of mine, but also in general, the landing page itself is also just pretty good. It does feel like a place where every day I can kind of log in, and there's going to be a new paper on top, and especially the top 10, there tends to be something somewhat interesting in there every single day. Not every paper, of course, is going to be amazing for this, oh, let's just generate a widget, because sometimes it's about like this huge training run that they did, right? But in general, I have a new hobby. It is this. It is taking these articles and making fun notebooks out of them, and LLMs are helping me do that. And it does feel like that's maybe one of the best use cases I've had for LLMs in a while. So I hope you find that inspiring.